Hamza. We've got David with us here. Welcome, gents. David, obviously, you were one of the Chelsea fans that wasn't, according to the viewers today, getting overly carried away. But it now is 4 games without a win, a lack of clinical edge again, and just not being able to get the job done. What went wrong today specifically, in your opinion, mate?
Jackson can't score. That's literally it. I'm sorry. Anyone else who talks about Maresca or our defence or anything else apart from Jackson missing well, I'd say 2 easy chances and 2 half chances. You're not watching the game, because in that first half we should have been 4-5-0 up, which is the same as the Fulham game, which is the same as the Ipswich game, which is surprisingly the same as last season when we had Poch anyway. So for me, again, this isn't the system works and the system is there, and I don't want my manager changing his principles to do whatever. So I'm not annoyed at that. I'm just more annoyed at a player performance. But I thought overall we were actually pretty good today. I disagree with your point about Acheampong. I thought that was probably the best out of the non-starting centre backs. I thought that was probably the best centre back performance that I'd seen for most of the season. Tossin hasn't been good. I haven't thought Tossin's been that good since he's been playing, and Disasi has been terrible.
I get Disasi being dropped, yeah.
And the reason why we didn't make a sub in midfield is because we have no midfielders. If you look at our bench, it's only forwards and right backs and a goalkeeper. So we actually didn't have a midfielder to bring on, unless you want to count Renato Vega, but he's also mainly a right back or a fullback. So
yeah, I was counting. I've seen him playing midfield for you. So
but like again, in the if you can't again, he's not been cutting it that well in the Conference League, so I wouldn't want him coming on in midfield in a Premier League game. So it's one of those things where we're a bit light in midfield. I think we need to recall 1 or 2 people. I think Leslie's not doing much at Southampton, and Santos at Strasbourg is killing it. So if we can't buy someone, at least recall some cover. But apart from that, I'm annoyed at the result, but I'm not annoyed at the performance, because I thought the performance overall was pretty good. So again, for me, I'm not looking at it as in terms of I'm reviewing the game. It's like the game along with everything else that's been going on. It's not the best result, but it's not the end of the world. But I know people are going to be like, oh, Maresca's collapsing like he did at Leicester. Again, nobody knows why that happened at Leicester. Go ask people from Leicester, or go do some research yourself, because it's a really lazy analysis of what happened. But yeah, no, I'm not too worried about what's going on. It's just a shame that, again, we didn't kill the game off when we should have, and then we gave them an opportunity. And Sanchez, oh my God, I'm going to talk about it, because there was a point in the game where he just literally threw the ball to Crystal Palace. Don't know what he was doing. And then when it came to the goal, I know Palmer gives the ball away, but it's one of those things where situationally you kind of want your goalkeeper to be a bit smarter and go, we're 1-0 up, we're kind of under pressure here. Let's just kind of hold on to the ball instead of punting it into Palmer and hoping he does something magical. So it is what it is. But, it's nothing new to what's happened. Goalkeeper makes mistakes. We give away 1 chance, they score, and our striker can't finish. So yeah.
Listen, I hear you about the striker not finishing. That's definitely an issue. I mean, there were other options though to that. I mean, João Felix not coming on and Kunku not coming on. I mean, do you agree with those? I mean, leaving it until the 81st minute to make the change for Guiu. Do you agree with those decisions from Maresca?
I don't know why he stripped down Guiu and then didn't bring him on for 7 minutes. I thought that was a bit weird. And also in that time, Jackson missed another sitter, which Guiu probably would have, you would have hoped that someone would have finished. But it's weird. I think part of it is like we are a bit light right now, and the team kind of needs a rest. And in the last game when we played in Kunku and we played Felix, they weren't particularly great. And to be fair, I thought Sancho and Neto were actually having pretty good games. So I didn't really disagree with not taking them off. But I guess the only thing I would say is that managers normally make subs anyway. So you'd hope your manager would make a sub. But I didn't think our forward line was our biggest problem. But I don't know. It's just a bit of a mess right now. We just need to make sure it doesn't continue on into. We've got a week break now, and then we've got Morecambe. So the players actually get a rest now. So He just needs to make sure.
I get that. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking here at the stats. I mean, it was 13 shots for them, 15 for you, but they had 6 on target to your one. You had 1 on target, and that was the goal. It's
but the thing is, like
crazy stat, isn't it?
the one on target, the amount of shots that should have been on target, though. I know, like this is why I prefer XG to shots on target, because shots on target can be they shot from 40 yards away and then it's gone on goal, whereas Jackson just missing the goal. That's a good chance. That's a really good chance, but he's missed not on target.
Yeah, for me, I get your point, because I watched the game. I'm looking at the fact that you had so many shots from areas that you should be, even if you don't score, you should be hitting the target.
Yeah, you should be hitting the target, and we didn't.
Yeah,
that's where it's like we're lacking in finishing. So yeah.
No, I hear where you're coming from there, and it's one of those gutting things. Don Vito says Terry doesn't watch the games. Quite the opposite, my friend. What wouldn't be watching the games is saying, "Oh, you had no shots on target." That's because Chelsea were just kicking from range. No, I literally just said you had multiple chances where you're within 8 or 9 yards of the goal line, and you should be testing the goalkeeper. And there was one that you had in the first half where Jackson. And this is where I think there's a little bit of overconfidence. Maybe he's going with the outer edge of his boot to try and pull it into the far corner. Use your left foot. Use your left foot, or you go for that little extravagance. If it doesn't come off, and then your team don't win, it looks very, very bad. But Don Vito, you've done yourself there, mate. You wrote the comment before you carried on listening, my friend. But there we go. We've got Winter Surfer with us as well. Well, now, Winter Surfer. Another disappointing result today. What's your thoughts after the game? David has said that he's happy with the performance. It's more just on Jackson's lack of finishing. Do you see it slightly differently to that?
No, I'm more or less the same, really. It wasn't just Jackson. I thought Palmer stunk, basically, apart from the goal today. His passing, I thought was a bit off. I thought basically most of the time we got to the final third of the pitch, it was a wayward pass or it was stopping momentum. But your main culprit was Jackson, though. Someone has to ask him why, when he in the first half, when he turned the defender and decided to shoot the outside of his right boot. I don't know why he tried to do that, but I agree. I know you thought. I only thought that really Palace had. I know you said they had a lot of shots on target, but I really only thought the Sanchez that he saved from the header was the decent chance that they had on goal. But we leave ourselves open at 1-0, right? If you don't take the chances, you always leave yourself open at 1-0. It's one of the oldest sayings in the game, and that's the problem. I have no issues with the subs or anything like that, but maybe you're right. Maybe it's maybe they've now got a fresh week ahead. They can just take a look at everything and just try again, because Morecambe's up. They'll probably heavily rotate for the Morecambe game. It's at home. Let's be honest. They'll heavily rotate for that. And then we go again against Wolves and against Bournemouth. But yeah, it's disappointing. You'd rather have this run of form at the start of the season than in the middle of the season. But it was just for me. It was just the finishing today. That was all. That was the biggest issue for me, and that's the point where this isn't even on about Jackson. There's a point of like whoever you think the name is, it was having maybe another option on the bench of a name of a forward, a striker that could come on and maybe change the game or something like that. That's my only thing. It's like, I don't think Mark Gui's ready at all, and he shouldn't be. No pressure should be put on him. But if you're not going to put in Cook on, which is fine because he said previously he's not a number 9, even though he's played at 9, then I think we need to look, whether it's in this January or in the summer, especially
in the market,
is to have that. It's nothing against Jackson or anything like that, because we know Jackson's hot and cold. Do you know what I mean? He's in a cold moment at the moment.
And Joe, that matches a lot of the super chats and comments here. Like Decay here says, enough with the fun and games. Jackson's had so many chances to claim the first spot. Only one shot on target. We had bring Victor Osimhen. True Blue says that Jackson isn't the finished product. He's a second striker. Chelsea need either needs either of the Victors. Yeah, Victor Gyökeres or Victor Osimhen. That name was that name was literally given to people like my grandmother's age, and it went away. It's coming back now. Clearly, playing 94 minutes and having one shot on target is a madness. So it does appear that a number of Chelsea fans tuning in agree with that, where it's just play the system, do what we're doing, but bring in bagsmen and goal scorers, and you'll win more games.
Yeah, because if we go in that, which we should have done, if we go in at least 2-0 up, I don't think Palace get anything from this game at halftime. If we go in there 2-0 up, I think it's a totally different story, but we didn't, and that's the problem. Same against Ipswich, same against Fulham, maybe not against Everton, but you know what I mean. But that's the learning thing, and I think we're going to see, and we've already seen it, Terry, how emotionally immature some of this Chelsea fan base is already. That after two games.
CB has said in the group chat that Maresca. I mean, I've criticised a few things of Maresca today, but what he has said is Maresca's on fraud watch now.
Right, because everyone really expected, everyone really backed Maresca when he first joined. Right, everyone was going, yeah, Maresca's our guy. We really wanted Maresca. We knew what he was going. I don't even know what fraud watch means for Maresca since it's his first job in the Premier League. I don't even know what that means for him. What does he mean by fraud watch?
A Championship manager, he's doing quite well.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. So, there is, but yeah, I think whether they look at this in January or not, but definitely in the summer, in terms of having another striker of quality, that is, whatever you think. Mark Gui's just not for me. I don't know if David agrees. I don't think Mark Gui's ready to handle.
No, I think he's got potential, but not
to be the number two.
He's not someone you want to be relying on to. Yeah. When you need a goal in a big Premier League game for him to become
he's not it.